Welcome to episode 53 of the Cover 2 presented by Tigervision. Wow, you'd think after 53 episodes I could get it down by now. I'm Patrick Neal. This is Grayson Mann, as always. There's the fist bump. Grayson, do you want to explain what we're going to be doing today?
So today on the menu, oh so good menu of Cover 2, we're going to quickly dive into the weekend that was the finale of college basketball. I think we're going to do both women's and men's briefly. We're going to touch on both finales of their respective seasons, and then we're going to do another one of our drafts, the most iconic sports moments in our lifetimes, because we could easily go, oh, Miracle on Ice, Jordan's final shot, stuff like that. But we wanted to kind of reinvent the wheel, to say, and go, hey, what moments did we experience that were special to us? So we kind of resonates better. We're not prisoners of nostalgia, to say.
Yeah, I think exactly what Grayson said. We're going to try and pick moments that have happened in our lifetime because
easy to pick tons of moments that I haven't seen.
There's a lot of things that have happened that we weren't there for, so we didn't really experience. So, we're going to do that. But first, Grayson also didn't mention Mac Jones is getting traded to a team. Supposedly, Bill Belichick hates him. Do you want to elaborate?
So what this attempt for Patrick trying to get under my skin is there was a report this morning by Mike Florio, who's been wrong about the Patriots on multiple occasions, tweeted out that the Commanders, the Raiders, and I believe it was another team, the Patriots have been shopping him. And then I saw another report by Patriots reporter that you responded to all those sources, and it's a weird mess. Patrick and I were talking about it before the show, kind of going back and forth about it. There's got to be some merit to it because obviously these reports don't really come out of thin air, but I think at the same time, if Mac was going to get traded, I think it would have happened way in advance, probably a little bit after the season, I would have to assume. But I think for Belichick, he just brought in Bill O'Brien to resurrect this offense. You go through this really tumultuous season on every facet for New England. Why not see what you have in Jones, who, when he had we had a competent coaching staff on the offensive side, posted top 15 numbers as a quarterback. So I think that the trade rumors, they might have shopped him, might have just to gauge interest, but especially at their spot at 14 and the way this quarterback class is handled, just panned out, I don't think they're going to get anybody even if they wanted to.
I mean, if they could, I don't know if Mac Jones is moving the needle for you to get into the top 5.
No.
So
as much as I love Mac, it's not happening.
But I disagree with I disagree with the fact that if they were shopping him, he would have already been traded, because there's plenty of time, like during the draft, after the draft even, teams don't get whoever they want, the quarterback that they wanted doesn't fall to them at their spot. They may be scrambling a little bit afterwards.
Well, I think that you got your backup in Zappi, and there was this big fascination with Bailey Zappi during the period where Mac Jones was hurt. I just think that if New England was going to trade Mac Jones, they were going to try to get a franchise. They're going to try to find out a way to get their next franchise guy. I don't think it's Zappi. I think they drafted him specifically to be a backup. It just so happened he came in, did his job, exactly what they drafted him to do. When disaster strikes, they draft him to be Jones' backup. I think it would happen already. Maybe it happens in the draft. Maybe a team gets desperate, like you said, and gives New England exactly what they want. But it feels way too complicated. The timing could not be more curious, though.
Maybe it's just, we were kind of struggling to come up with stuff to talk about today, so maybe it's just people wanting news headlines.
Yeah.
So.
Slow news day.
Yeah, Mike Florio, maybe he's BSing a little bit. But the NCAA basketball championships have happened, so we're going to.
And I think for both of us, so last night, it's very safe to say, a little tough watch.
A bit of a snooze fest, in all honesty.
So I had this fear the entire time of the way, going, man, if there's not a recognizable face, there's not really a storyline to follow within this men's tournament, that we'd get to this. The excitement was all there in the Final Four of, it's all these brand new teams, and then you get to the championship, and it just kind of feels like the life was already sucked out of everything. Like you had last year, UNC and Kansas. You're seeing the same teams a lot in the same times, but you're seeing different players who can build their legacy on. We had the Coach K UNC Final Four, which was really neat to see. So, and the game really just wasn't that entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. UConn just basically seemed to be up by 10 plus the entire game. At one point towards the end, with like 5 minutes left, San Diego State cut it to like 5.
Yeah, they made it interesting in the end. I'll give them that.
But it never really felt like they were down 5, or they were down 5 for like 30 seconds, and then after that, UConn just pulled away again, and by the end of it, they ended up winning by 17. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think, I think in a few years, you'll be able to go to do trivia in a bar or somewhere or at a restaurant, and they're gonna be like, who was the most outstanding player in the 2023 men's NCAA tournament?
I don't think I could tell you.
And you couldn't tell us right now, even after it happened. I mean, it's Adama Sanogo, I believe.
Yeah, Sanogo was fantastic.
He was great, but it's just like it's a 5 seed versus a 4 seed. People, I don't know. I feel like the common desire is for teams to get upset the first 2 days, but then after that, you want the best teams. And I mean, San Diego State and UConn, all credit to them because they are fantastic teams. But kind of like you're saying, there just wasn't that super recognizable face, at least to the normal fans, with San Diego State, with UConn.
There wasn't a player to gravitate towards, or because I think UNC you had Baycott, you had Davis, you had Caleb Love.
Well, they didn't even make the tournament.
Yeah, so. Well, I'm talking about last year with the tournament.
Yeah.
And you had Duke and Coach K. You had Kansas, which is always you know what to expect with them. You had Villanova. You had the Blue Bloods essentially. It was the Blue Bloods, and then this year it wasn't. I guess if you want to consider.
Well, I mean, I think UConn has to be considered a Blue Blood now. That's 5 titles and
5 tries.
Yeah, so
I think also it doesn't help when the women's tournament, just the day before, the storylines were all there. It was fascinating. Examining Caitlin Clark as a player, how she was able to gravitate. A lot of people that don't normally watch the women's tournament gravitate them towards that. They beat the best team in college basketball all year in South Carolina. And then there's this beef, I guess, between LSU and Iowa with the disrespect. So people were wanting to see how it played out, and I guess they got what they wanted.
Yeah, I guess we can transition to that real quickly.
LSU ended up pulling away.
Yeah, so LSU wins by also 17.
That's
ironically
kind of fascinating.
Which is kind of funny to think because, I mean, UConn won by the same amount, but everybody thought this game was just so much more entertaining. But it was really, really great to see how much attention this women's tournament, especially the Final Four, has gotten. You have Caitlin Clark, who's going to be coming back next year. You have Angel Reese. I was totally blanking on the name for a second. I believe she's coming back for, I think she's a sophomore, so I think 2 more years. But it was a fantastic game. It's early, nobody could miss especially from 3.
Yeah, it was like it's what you wanted to see in the other tournament. You wanted to see an offensive just explosion, and you had you got the price of admission. You got to see LSU, a team that really found themselves late, and we thought if it was going to be a team from the SEC, it's going to be South Carolina. But obviously Iowa had gotten the upset. Caitlin Clark, 41 points in that game. I believe she had 30 in this one too. And I think LSU they matched up well with them, and especially the Reese, who had 15, 10, and 5.
Yeah, Angel Reese was good. Jasmine Carson came off the bench. I think she had something like 7 points in her last 2 games or something. Not a lot of points. I don't remember the stat exactly. But came in, hit 5 of 6 from 3, 7 of 8 from the field, 3 free throws, had 22 points. And they scored over 100, which is doesn't happen very often in the college game.
Yeah, seriously. In either sports.
Either gender. But we got to analyze this so-called beef. Twitter went crazy afterwards. Oof. So what happens? No Angel kidding. Reese does the John Cena "you can't see me" to Caitlin Clark after the game, after she had done it to South Carolina.
I thought it was Louisville.
Oh, Louisville. You are right. You were totally right.
There we go.
But
she did very briefly too.
I thought it was. I'll say this quickly. I think it's very ironic that she's doing the "you can't see me," and if you watch the video of her doing it, she's trying to get in the way so Caitlin Clark can see her.
Yeah. Well, she was doing the ring thing at that point.
Yeah, she was doing the ring as well, which, love the trash talk, honestly. That's what sports is for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't understand why everybody was so riled up about it because, if we saw that in any other sport, we'd be going nuts for it, being like, oh, this is great. I mean, She won. She was, I mean, in the heat of the moment, I would be just as probably obnoxious, if you want to call it that, just because, yeah, you're a national champion, and how many times is she going to be able to be in that moment? I mean, we want to see that in that sport. We want to have the storylines that draw us to. I mean, that's always been that discussion is how we get more people to watch.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah, exactly.
They complain about it.
And I think there's a lot of talk, especially in the men's game of in the NBA especially, refs are call too many things nowadays. And
yeah.
They call too many technicals. And I mean, the refs in this game were awful. Let's
they
get
were
that right.
Bad for both of them.
They were terrible. And when you have, a game that everybody's looking forward to, this is honestly a historic game, I think, just because of the amount of people that tuned in this game for the women's final. To have the refs kind of just constantly, and it was both ways, just constantly calling ticky-tack fouls, bad technicals, not calling technicals, whatever it was. That was pretty unfortunate. But where is I going with this? I like kind of having some freedom to, talk to your other opponent, make fun of your opponent. Because that's sports.
I think I love beef in sports. I watch I think it's SB Nation that does the YouTube videos of beef history and detail, like Josh Norman, Odell Beckham, when they're fighting each other, trying to kill each other on the field. It's 35-7. You can't wait for the next time Beckham steps on the field, or when Westbrook and KD face off for the first time after Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors. They're getting each other's faces, probably saying things that I can't say on this show. So I welcome it. I want to kind of, if the NCAA is smart, they'll schedule LSU and Iowa again.
Exactly.
And some sort of SEC Big Ten challenge.
And Caitlin Clark came out and said fair enough, LSU won. She has all right to do that. So, no need to call it classless.
Yes.
That was the term that was getting thrown around a lot. So no need for that. It's just, at the end of the day, it's sports. It's fun.
Well, we here wanted to take the positive side, I think, more than anything.
I will say, I think Angel, it's cold to do that, especially when Caitlin Clark was doing it. To take somebody's celebration and put it back on themselves.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Smart. I mean, that's what you got to do.
She studied the tape.
It's cold.
She studied the tape.
Yeah, she studied the tape. But I think you gotta execute it a little better. If you're watching this video, Caitlin Clark is walking this direction. Angel Reese is trying to walk over while doing this, just hoping to get noticed.
Yeah.
And so it's almost does Caitlin Clark have real estate in Angel Reese's head? Even though LSU just won.
She might have a property.
Yeah. So
she might have a summer home.
Yeah. Potentially. That's just a thought. That's just a thought.
Just for thoughts.
I still think Angel Reese did get the upper hand because they ultimately won the championship. And now the White House is inviting both teams. Supposedly.
I did see a report that they backed off of it. They had to retract the quote.
None of this everybody gets a trophy culture.
We're not inviting the Falcons to the White House.
We're not doing
Eagles.
This. Winners get to go to the White House.
We're not inviting San Diego State.
McDonald's.
Yeah. The McDonald's. Bring back McDonald's as the White House dinner.
But
probably not, but
Oh well. Good for LSU, good for UConn. Congratulations, all the way from Clemson, South Carolina. Okay, do we want to transition to?
Let's do our draft.
We're gonna draft. Again, struggling for some content here.
No,
but I love drafts.
This is good.
So
it's good.
This is gonna be the best thing we've ever done, for sure, on the YouTube, on Spotify. Okay, so we're drafting
the most iconic sports moments in our lifetime. So the rules can't go past, if I wanted to list, for example, Michael Jordan's final shot against the Jazz.
You couldn't do that.
Couldn't do that. If you wanted to do the Miracle on Ice, can't do that.
Can't do that.
So, do you want to go first?
We can rock, paper, scissors, honestly.
Okay.
Also, we're going to go 5 rounds each, and it's just going to alternate. We aren't going to snake in anything because it's just the two of us.
All right, ready?
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
All right, you're up.
I'll go first.
The floor is yours.
Doing extensive research.
Yeah.
I currently have 2 ideas written down on my sticky notes.
There we go.
Actually, I got 3.
You'll get some.
I got 4.
You'll get some as they go along.
Yeah, I did 0 research for this. So this is completely off the dome. Best sports moments.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with first overall pick. People people love to hate him.
Oh no.
I personally love laughing at him. I think he's just an absolute troll. But
Yeah.
LeBron coming back 3-1, the block,
This is pretty
2016. I think that's a pretty iconic moment.
good. The 3-1, the block by James. Like you can do the little Mike Breen impression where he's
blocked by James.
Well, I had that. I actually have the moment listed down as well as LeBron's block in Game 7. But I think for just looking at it as a pure iconic thing, it was iconic because I remember the next day after they had won, they were discussing how like LeBron's legacy, he didn't really have a signature moment on a grand stage like that, and like that was finally it.
Yeah.
Like Ray Allen had the 3-pointer, and they just kind of handled the Thunder and LeBron's first championship. So to get that and it be like his thing, and we're also dropping I think a triple-double in Game 7. It was like it was his. I think it's when they really started to do the Michael Jordan comparison. After that, and it was impressive. I mean, I remember rooting for him too.
Yeah, and to get the Cleveland, this is for you.
Yes.
To bring a championship back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm trying to think of the word. Just like
This is for you.
validate, the move back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Everybody had kind of hated LeBron, but I think.
Because I think many believe they would have won in 2015 if Kevin Love hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also the argument that the Warriors win this if Draymond doesn't get suspended,
Yeah,
too.
it can go both ways. But, I mean, regardless, LeBron got the last word. And the best part, too, is that Klay Thompson was like, I guess he got his feelings hurt. And LeBron's just chuckling. He's like, okay. And then he drops 40 points in games 5 and 6 and then a triple-double.
So that's going to be my first moment.
Okay.
Is
Mine
the LeBron
is,
blocked
you
by James.
mentioned the word best, and I don't want to classify this as best, but I'm such a sucker for history. And there's a fascinating video on this online. My fifth one is the moment that COVID shut down the NBA.
Whoa.
In terms of
okay,
iconic.
I wasn't even thinking like that.
In terms of iconic.
Rudy Gobert touching the
Yes,
microphones.
like 10, 15 years from now, we're going to remember where we were for I remember watching that game. I think it was Thunder. It was the Thunder and the Jazz. And we're getting ready to watch the game. And for 30 minutes, people were like, they know, like, I thought there was like a bomb threat or something. That's probably going to get flagged by YouTube, by the way. But I thought that I didn't know what was going on. And COVID was like in the back of my mind, but I never thought it would. That's when I really started to think, oh shoot, this might be serious type thing.
Some of us like to go positive in this draft.
Well, I got 4 positives ones, but I'm a sucker for history, and that's going to be a big deal.
Look, that's fine. I feel like I was not even thinking about that. I was thinking like during the games.
I'm thinking like that's a moment.
Okay.
In,
I mean,
sports.
it's definitely a moment. You probably could have gotten that later because I would not have thought of that.
Oh, I just had to get because it's not my favorite, but
okay.
I'm a sucker for it.
So I'm gonna do a move here.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little bit controversial and take probably what you would have taken at some point and take the Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead.
It's actually not on my list, but I do
Okay.
like it. I do. It is one of those. I remember exactly where I was. That 28-3. I think my dad went to bed first of all because the game was over. It should have been. You could pull so many iconic moments from that game alone, like the strip sack from Hightower, the Edelman catch. The Patriots finally got a catch, like a obnoxious catch in the Super Bowl to go their way, because it had been Tyree, Manningham, the Jermaine Kearse catch 2 years prior. I don't think many people remember that one.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But
you can just pull up I have a shirt of the scoreboard that says 28-3.
Yeah, I mean it's 28-3 jokes, especially in Atlanta. Happy 404 Day to everybody who celebrates.
That's right.
Who's from Atlanta. The 404 area code. One of the best area codes. Besides like the 305 in Miami.
Yeah.
Probably number 2. But yeah, happy 404 Day to everybody who celebrates.
404.
But yeah, I remember where I was. We went to a neighbor's house, family friends who were Patriots fans. And the entire game, my mom was like, man, I feel so bad for Tom Brady. They're just getting destroyed by so much. And me and my dad are like, what are you doing? And we leave after halftime.
Don't say that.
When they're up. And Falcons end up blowing the 28-3 lead. And our family friends are like, you are never allowed to watch a Patriots Super Bowl at our house again. So
yeah, seriously. And they had one. We had 2 more in them. So yeah, 28-3. I like the suggestion. I really do. Okay. My next one is going to be. This is more of like a biased one because I was there in person for this. It's Deshaun Watson and Hunter Renfrow in the national championship.
I was probably going to take that next. I was going to take that at some point.
I will never forget the Bama fans in front of us talking so much ish the entire time. Like, Jalen Hurts scores the scrambles for the touchdown, which is weird to think about. Like, if you had told me in that moment he'd be the Eagles quarterback in the Super Bowl this year, I would have thought they were crazy. But Hurts goes in a scramble, and I remember the guy behind, like in front. So there's Bama fans in one row, and then Clemson fans in front of us. The guy turns around and just does this. It's like they left too much time on the clock.
Yep.
And you go down, and you have the final play. Like, it was unreal, and it was. Everyone was rooting for Clemson at the time too. They were tired of
the
Alabama
Bama narrative.
Yeah.
So
simple times they were.
I mean, fantastic play. As a Clemson student.
Oh yeah.
I probably should have picked that earlier. I was hoping maybe that I could get it like next round.
You could sneak it in.
But yeah, great pick. Great pick.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to think about another Clemson moment, I guess, at some point. But anyways, my next pick. You know, if we're taking this to the international stage.
Ooh, okay.
I think this is honestly probably the most iconic sports moment.
Okay.
Maybe ever. It's Lionel Messi winning a World Cup.
This is true. This is a good pick.
It was a great game, and
his first
first World Cup, his only World Cup.
Yeah.
But you know, Messi has won everything on the club level, on the European stage. Everything. He's won everything. He's won Ballon d'Ors. He's won scoring titles. He's won La Ligas, Champions Leagues, all of this. But to finally get that World Cup.
And a heck of a game.
And yeah, great game. They go to extra time, and to finally get, you know, what he's been missing. The one thing he has not accomplished.
And
get the World Cup.
The heavy list.
And he was fantastic too. Like, it wasn't like he was just along for the ride.
He had 2 goals, right?
Yeah, he had 2 goals. Mbappe was great in that game as well. But Messi getting the World Cup.
That was a great game. That was honestly, that whole World Cup was fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, I know.
Like, you could not miss a second of that, especially when we had the United States, US of A. Hoorah.
Yeah.
In there.
Couldn't beat Netherlands though. But
this is true.
That's okay.
Okay, so this one, you took LeBron's. I had like this order planned out in my head, so I'm gonna have to shuffle the list a little bit. My next one is the butt fumble on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I like that.
One of the funniest bloopers in all of sports.
Go Jets.
Your friend won't be very happy about this if she watches it.
Yeah.
But freaking Mark Sanchez just runs into his center's rear. The ball pops out, and the Patriots scoop it up. The game was already a blowout. It was bad enough, but I think that was just the staple. Rex Ryan's still the coach of the Jets. They had just come off of all the success in the AFC. I think they had gone to 2 consecutive AFC championships or something like that. Not in the one because that year prior the Pats won the Super Bowl, but they had been consistently relevant, and then they started to just do this, and that was just the icing on the cake for them. Like,
yeah.
I remember watching that as a kid, thinking
tough.
that was the funniest thing that I'd ever seen in my life. And it was so much my dad was crying laughing. Like, it was comical.
I mean, it's quite the moment. It's quite the moment.
Quite the moment.
Let me think.
The butt fumble.
My next pick.
Okay.
You know what? It has been NCAA. Like, we just finished the tournament. I think I got to get a March Madness moment in there.
You do.
So I'm gonna go with the Archidiacono to Chris Jenkins.
Yes.
3 for the win. Villanova wins the championship.
There we go.
I mean, Marcus Page had just hit an absolutely absurd shot.
Yeah.
Moments before.
No kidding.
But it just didn't matter. And if you watch the Jay Wright reaction, it's just like, watches it go in. I think he mouths like bang. And then it's just like calm, cool, collected. Yeah, we expected to do that.
We got a play in mind. Come here, guys.
So Chris Jenkins.
Because they had to review to see if
pick.
like Page's foot had touched the floor or whatever. Because it was such a weirdly looking shot. And so it gave Villanova time to draw something up.
Jenkins for 3.
And I think somebody mirrored that in the March Madness tournament this year. The exact play.
Very close. Yes, it was. Oh my goodness.
I know. Like they.
No, they made it. It was a buzzer beater. Why am I blanking? They did the exact play. quickly search it.
I am trying, and I'm not gonna find it.
It's
It wasn't. It was. I think it was for an upset, right?
It was a very dumb shot. Like,
Yeah.
It was. Was it? It was Gonzaga.
Yeah.
It was Gonzaga. That's who it was. Gonzaga beat UCLA. That's how they beat them, I believe.
Yeah, that they did. That they did.
Yeah, because that was a crazy game. So.
I lost money because of that.
Okay. Well, your fourth pick.
My fourth pick. Okay. This one I remember exactly where I was, and I think it carries more weight because of his passing. And it's Kobe going for 61 in his final game against the Utah Jazz.
Out of the three things that were on my list, that was one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like sniping your stuff.
No, well, that's okay. I'll freestyle like I have the entire time. But.
I remember the Lakers being so bad this year. And I remember as a kid being like kind of angry about it because it's like, oh man, where was this like all year? But him going all out, I would watch it like periodically every now and then. Just like, because they were down the entire time. Then Kobe picked up the pace in the fourth quarter and just went berserk against the Gordon Hayward Jazz. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it's one of those moments where the legends go out on top. Like that was crazy. I remember staying up for that too. Like it was Kobe's final game. You had to be there. It was something.
It was quite the moment. And were you a fan of Kobe growing up? I know you're a Celtics fan, so.
I mean, I
like, did you hate him?
when he
played
played Boston, like I couldn't stand him, but I respected the heck out of him. Like I had enough respect because I knew what he was and how like fantastic.
I think
a player.
everybody always respected him.
Yeah, didn't really like him when he played Boston, but
Yeah, I mean.
that might be sacrilegious to be like have kind of a neutral feeling on Kobe as a Celtics fan, but I think that he's been immortalized through his passing too. So
Very true, very true. Okay, so my fifth spot.
yes,
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here. I have something Googled right here that I might just go ahead and go with.
might hide and go with it.
I'm trying to get, diversify my portfolio.
You have to.
So I think I'm gonna go with Serena Williams, her last game retiring.
Yes. Okay, as a tennis guy, I like this. I really do.
I'm not a big tennis guy, but
Oh, I am.
I know you are.
Yeah.
So understanding all that Serena has done for the game.
One of the might be the greatest, especially in women's tennis, to ever do it.
She's like LeBron says. If you ever find that video, "Goat Talk."
Yeah.
Bah. There's a video of him just like filming Serena Williams playing, and he's like, "Goat Talk."
Bah.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with is Serena Williams. Now she's got a prominent acting career in Glass Onion. If you've seen that movie,
yeah.
she was there for like
Connor's shaking
3
his head.
seconds.
He agrees. He agrees.
But yeah,
Okay.
Serena Williams' last game.
Yes. Now I don't have as much of a diverse portfolio as you, but this one's pretty good to me, and this one's near and dear to my heart. And I'll show you. I think if I can find the video, I'll show you my reaction to it.
Okay.
As a little child, is the Butler did it. Malcolm Butler's interception in Super Bowl 49 to seal the. I think I could argue that's one of the greatest plays in NFL history.
Yeah.
Like just the story behind it is crazy too. Is that the Patriots? So get this: the Patriots ran that exact same play in practice like 5 or 6 times, and it was like the scout team defense. Malcolm Butler was getting burned every single time on it, but they had a corner get hurt in the game, so he was like the third guy and came in, played really well. He ended up going up against Chris Matthews, who came out of nowhere in that game. And Butler was actually the corner that had Jermaine Kearse on that crazy catch where he's like bobbling it.
Yeah.
And so Butler said in interviews, like, I just thought I'd lost the game for them. Like it was like the worst. Like he was sick to his stomach. And then so they take him off the field and they run the play with Marshawn Lynch, and then they recognize the formation, and all they have left is Malcolm Butler. So they get him over there. He sprints to the end zone, and he said he recognized the formation instantly and knew exactly what they were doing. So he said the second the ball was snapped, I was I'm just shot out of a cannon. So it was a great story on the whole do your job thing, knowing your role and just being ready for that moment when you're called for it. I remember I think I was 13, and it was the first Super Bowl they had won when I really started to become a fan, because I'd been through the 2 Giants ones, painful, and that was big.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic moment for him. Everybody says the Seahawks should have run the ball. Should they have run the ball? I kind of think
they screwed themselves of a second championship because if it came down to it, the Patriots weren't stopping Marshawn Lynch 4 times. Like, I think that he had also come off of like his best statistical season in his entire career in 2014. So like,
Yeah.
I think,
But like, you kind of throw them off by throwing it. Everybody thinks you're going to run it.
yeah,
and
I think that's what they were thinking. But at the same time, they're at the pretty much the inch yard line. They could have at least tried one more time. It wasn't like New England's defensive line it was Wolfork and Jones. It was the end of the game. They're a little tired. It's going to be tough to stop Lynch. He had 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns on 280 carries. I mean, he could have. They had timeouts to work with too. They had 2, so they could have ran it at least once and then been like, okay.
And then Malcolm Butler had like one good year after that and kind of just like fell off the face of the earth.
He had an All-Pro year in 2015. He had an okay year in 2016. And then he got benched in the Super Bowl against Philadelphia. And then he went and signed.
Oh, the Philly special. You could have done that one.
Yes, you could have. And then Tennessee. He goes signs a big deal with Tennessee and plays 1 season, and it's gone.
Yeah. So, great moment.
Fantastic moment.
Great moment.
For me, too.
But to recap, so your collection of moments.
Yes.
COVID, canceling sports, which...
The day, you should name it as the day the NBA shut down. People will know what that means.
Okay, yeah. But okay, yeah. The day the NBA...
The day the NBA shut down. There's a documentary on it with Donovan Mitchell.
Your number 1 overall pick, Rudy Gobert touching microphones.
No, I thought we were doing least to...
I'm messing with you. So the day the NBA shut down for Grayson, he's got the Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfrow national championship win by the Clemson Tigers. The butt fumble, he's got that one as well.
Pretty funny.
Kobe going for 61 at his last game, and the Malcolm Butler interception to win the Patriots the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. For me, I've got blocked by James.
That's right.
The Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead.
Classic.
Messi getting his World Cup. Chris Jenkins hitting a 3 against North Carolina in the championship of March Madness. And then Serena Williams' last game. So a lot of good moments there.
A lot of good moments.
Did we miss out on any that we probably should have put there instead?
I mean, one of my honorable mentions was the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine dunk contest.
Oh,
that
okay.
one was,
yeah, that was a great sports moment.
That set the bar way too high for the dunk contest.
That's a good moment. I just feel like
it's not top 5.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit later. I was trying to think of like Olympic stuff.
I had the
Michael Phelps,
the 3-day match in Wimbledon for Isner, where they went 21 hours.
I'm not super familiar with that.
So they played for 3 straight days in the first round.
Wow.
So they kept. I can read you off the final score. I think it's Isner, but
I was trying to think like Michael Phelps winning the most gold medals ever.
Yeah. It's John Isner and Nicholas Mahut. It lasted 11 hours. 11 hours
crazy.
and 5 minutes over 3 days.
That's a lot of tennis.
John Isner won 6-4, 3-6, 6-7, 7-6, 70-68 tiebreaker in a match that lasted 665 minutes.
That's nuts.
He ended up losing the next round because, obviously, you don't have enough legs
he's
to
tired.
keep going.
I mean, that makes sense. You have the rebound Bosch back out to Allen.
3-pointer bang.
Yep.
The spawn of many TikToks.
You've got the helmet catch. You got the Odell Beckham Jr. catch.
Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't make your list.
I'm not a Giants fan, so
yeah,
it's kind of like
Tiger-
2nd and 26. That's one I had written down.
Oh yeah.
That I didn't end up picking.
2nd and 26. How about that? I had one of mine potentially being Tiger winning the Masters in 2018.
Yeah, that was another one I was thinking of.
That was the day after my prom. That was pretty crazy.
Wow.
I ended up watching that in my neighbor's hot tub. It was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Everybody got up and we just chill in the hot tub, watch the Masters.
Wow.
It was pretty fun.
I bet. I didn't have a prom.
I had one, so
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all good.
All right. We're rambling at this point, but we want to thank you for tuning in to episode 53. I want to thank Connor for
Shout out Connor
for producing this episode, and go ahead, do everything you can.
List down an iconic sports moment of your own. We'll probably if we're up for
We're
it,
missing some,
might do like a little
sure.
Q&A type thing on Instagram, like where you leave a little answer thing and
Yeah,
see
we
what
could
they
do
think.
that. We could do that.
Excluding the ones that we have, do they have any?
So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Cover 2. Thank you, and have a good one.